Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us and welcome to today's episode of Shagalenko TV. As usual, my name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, and it's a pleasure having you here on the show. So, for first timers, Shagalenko comes your way, and we stream on three platforms on Shagalenko TV, Facebook page, on Shagalenko TV, YouTube page, and also on my personal page, Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari. And even after the show, you can still watch the video as a recorded one, and you can watch us live right now. Drop your comments in the comment section for us, and then we'll take it up from there. For those of you who are already our contact on Facebook and even on YouTube, you already know what we're looking at. So we're looking at starting up a new enterprise or an organization, the herculean tax that is on that. So a lot of people get confused on how they can start off um, the organization, whether NGO or CBO and all of that. And some get discouraged along the line because what they envisaged before starting off the organization or enterprise is not what they see. So, like they jokingly say, what you see online and what you ordered or what got delivered are three different things. So, not to worry because I've got a guest who is a specialist in that line of action, and she'll be telling us a whole lot more what you need to do, how you need to put the very important things together. Registration is another very big deal for upcoming entrepreneurs or upcoming civil society owners or advocates and all of that. So we're looking at really a few angles, SWOT analysis and a whole lot. But let me just bring my guest in. She says she simply wants to be called Bookie, so I'll take it like that. But she will still tell us a little more about herself when we come bring her in. So let me just quickly bring our guest in, Bookie, and she'll just tell us a little about herself, just a little, and then we'll take it up from there. Hi, Bookie.
Hi. Hi, Ambassador. How are you? Very happy to be here.
I'm good. Quite a century. We have been trying to do this for over
We've
how
been
many
doing
years?
this
And
for
finally,
yes, finally. Finally, I'm very happy.
LOP, LOP finally worked.
Yeah,
How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you. So,
Mm.
how are you as well?
Okay, so who is Bookie? I'm fine. I know you always want to be humble, but for our viewers and first time viewers, they will want to know the beautiful face, the beautiful smile behind the name.
Right. There is little about me. Okay, my name is Bukola Adebankin. You can call me Buki. Um, I I just finished my masters. I think if that will suffice. I enjoy outside of I work for for a for-profit organization, but I double as the lead of the developmental arm prior to going for my masters. So right now, I would like to identify as a consultant, a social enterprise consultant, or a non for profit consultant. Right now, but prior to now, I was the chief operating officer for Red Media and also led the developmental arm of the company, which is the Future Project, the Future Award. So, and my love for social entrepreneurship and non-for-profit started off while I was in Unilag school. I volunteered in a lot of courses, and up until my final year in Unilag, I was the vice president of Junior Chamber International, which is JCI, and I really, really enjoyed my role. And then I think um, my final year as well, that was when Junior Achievement came newly into Nigeria, and their first point of call was to work with schools to run enterprises, and I was the president of Junior Achievement in University of Lagos at the time. So I've enjoyed not for profits. Like I said, I volunteered in so many courses, for so many courses in so many organizations, and I think volunteer was what actually stirred up the interest in non-for-profit. And for me, even going into for-profit and working in an institution, I'm always very keen about what is the social impact the company is going into, because I think you can actually balance impact with profit. It has to go hand in hand.
Thank you so much for that incisive one. I'll just quickly acknowledge the presence of Madam Hannah Rotkang. She's with NIM Foundation and she's watching us all the way from Kano. Thank you so much. And for those of you dropping your comments and questions for Buki, please keep them on as the program progresses. She will read some of them and address some of them. So Madam Rotkang again came on and she says she's reaching from Kano, Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us. So for all of us and everyone watching, just let us know where you're watching from. We're looking at social enterprise, starting up a social enterprise and everything you require about that. And Buki just set off the pace with all of that. So Buki, let's start with first things first. Do you think that
Okay.
people who set up social enterprise don't maybe do their homework or get carried away by other people's? Okay, so Nigerians are with this bandwagon effect. So Buki opens up a consultancy for women. Um, Madam Rotkang,
And
who may
everybody
not
joins
have
you.
experience in so they just do, and then halfway into it, they get discouraged. What is really the problem with starting up a social enterprise?
Well, I think from experience and then speaking to a couple of organizations I have consulted in or have volunteered in, I think there is this wave, like you mentioned, of because Mr. A is doing, then I have to do it. For example, the women centered organization, we can see that there was an influx of organization doing almost same thing. But I would want to say that even with a lot of organizations, say for example, for women empowerment and development, I would say one, passion is not enough. You have to think beyond the project, except you just want to maybe set up, say, just a small corporation or a volunteer organization. You have to go beyond passion, because especially because if you are looking at long term, thinking long term, if you want to raise funds, if you want to genuinely support people. And then also, I wouldn't even say that we have lots of organization maybe doing the same thing, because if you look at it, some of these organizations are maybe centered around their communities. And even with, let's say for example, Lagos, now we have a lot of women focused organization in Lagos. You may even go to some states in Nigeria and you will not even see them. So again, I think maybe we need more people who are passionate about women organization. I'm just using that as an example, to set up more organizations centered around these things. But again, to be fair, we all have our difference, we all have our interest, our passion, and because this person is going to this and doesn't mean I can't go into it, provided I have my unique selling point. What am I doing that is different from what the other organization is doing? Also, you look at your reach. What are your target audience? Some women focused organizations maybe are targeting, say, women between in their 40s, because the issues facing women in their 40s are different from the issues facing women in their 20s. Do you understand? So I think we even need more organizations to do more, but it's just that let's just ensure that we are spreading across across the six geopolitical zone, so that we are able to see the effect of our changes. But I think so far organizations are doing well to just pull their own their strengths, pull the everything
Yeah.
that they have to ensure that they keep afloat and then make impact, which is the ultimate aim of
Okay,
starting
okay.
organization in the first place.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So, in case you're just joining us, the program is Shagalinko TV, and my guest is here, Buki. If I tell you how long I've been trying to reach her, she's a very busy woman, though. Leave how she's forming humble here on the show. She's a very widely sought consultant. She's just forming busy for us, forming gentle for us here. So I'm going to be asking that what are the first things? Okay, backstage we were talking about SWOT analysis. Some entrepreneurs don't even, when you ask them what are their goals and objectives, even names, they hardly can come up with all of that. Are you also thinking that these are things they should first of all sit down and get done with before they even go into establish? Because what they do sometimes is, okay, they have one careless 2 million or 3 million here and there, and they're like, okay, let's throw it open there, get a shop or get an office, decorate it, put a secretary, and voila, looking for some things. But quickly, before you answer that, let me quickly read some of these messages before they also keep waiting. So Tokida Shamlat says he's watching from Kaduna and Tokida. And Wesley Alexander says, good morning, and he's watching from Chicago. Thank you so much. It's good to know you're watching all the way from the United States of America. And then we have this one from Oche Courage, and he says he's watching from Kano State. So you see, everyone is here waiting for you, Lady Buki. So what should entrepreneurs or people opening up businesses, what should they first look at when it comes to SWOT analysis, goals and objectives, and all of these? Is it really even important? Let's start with that.
Okay. I would first say that it's okay to just maybe have short-term goals in terms of social impacts that you want to create. For example, for your birthdays, you may just decide, okay, I want to institutionalize for every time I'm having my birthday, I'm going to say the prison to speak to them or to encourage the prison inmates. You can decide to do that. But if you're thinking long term, and you're also thinking of not using your personal funds to continue to run your organization, it's important you set up the right the right mechanism, the right tools, everything has to be set up from the onset. And I always advise that when you are starting off a social enterprise or an NGO, you need to be clear on what you're trying to do. I remember back to I was telling you that even when you're clear and you have to, maybe you have to think long term, you also have to think about at what point would you say that you've met your goal as an organization and you want to move into another thematic area, right? Another thematic area to focus on what you want to do. So I always recommend at that point, I want to start an organization. I want to do something bigger than myself that would outlive me. I want to leave my footprints in the sands of time. It is always very important for you to sit back and think about it. Think about your target audience. Think about the things you want to achieve. Think about what does impact mean for you. When will you say that, okay, this I have dot the I's, I have crossed the T's. And when we do that, um, it's always good to do your SWOT analysis. Yeah, it is very important. Look at what are your strengths, and don't forget that when you are starting off, you are really starting off with yourself, or maybe your family members or your bestie and all of that. So you're not starting with a lot of resources in terms of capital and even human resource. So you have to think about, do your SWOT analysis. But beyond SWOT analysis, I always encourage social enterprise, especially if you are just starting or you are within 1 to 3 years, to do a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, I mean SOAR. For your SWOT analysis, because you are just starting, you are all excited about your impact. You are all, sometimes when we are starting new things, there's this euphoria of just you are really on top of it. And it's just important for you to do that because at some point you would get tired, and that is normal. Even with business, you would just feel like, oh, things are not moving, you're not able to raise funds. So I always advise to do the SWOT analysis. So the SWOT analysis means strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. That's what SWOT analysis mean. And when I tell people to do
Can
SWOT
can you
analysis,
take it again?
oh, okay,
Can
yeah.
you take it
The
again
SWOT
for our
analysis,
viewers?
okay, SWOT analysis, it means strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. I believe with this model, with this analysis, which is also called appreciative inquiry, when you look at your strengths, what am I most proud about my organization, whether now or whether in a short period of time. If you're saying that, okay, for my organization, what I want to stand out is that at the end of 6 months we have trained 150 young girls on, say, um on say how to use maybe pad correctly, how to use your sanitary pads correctly, or knowing or maybe identifying, um I'm trying to look for a very good example, identifying the bad norm you have in your community. And these girls can differentiate between what are the bad norms and the good norms, and which one do I have to, how do I pay attention and manage it. You can also look at, under it, you look at what makes us unique as an organization. It's understanding what makes you unique would help you to know that, okay, if I am unique in this area, then if I see another organization in this in similar industry, but also, but not doing what I'm doing directly, but doing something that I think we can cross, we can work together in terms of collaboration.
And synergy.
Yes, synergy. And when you are doing that, you realize that you are tapping from each other's contact, you are growing strength. You can even apply for grants together, right? Then you can talk about your achievements and all of these things. I used to say, if especially when you are new, when you are doing your SWOT analysis, ensure that the people who are your trustees or the people you are selecting your board are part of these things, so that you know that these people are in alignment with your goal. So when you give them roles on as part of your board activities, they understand where you are coming from, right? Then when you do, you can also Google it. I'm sure there are resources on the SWOT analysis online that can help you a great deal. Just ensure that you harness your strengths. That's the S. Then when you look at the opportunities, you can look at, okay, the people I want to serve, what do they need? When you look at opportunities, you can also look at, outside of the people, the beneficiaries you want to serve, my stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders that I have to work with? Don't forget, you cannot work in silos, especially as a non-profit. It is always very, very encouraging when you are in a community to work together, chase more than what only you would have done on your own, right? How do I meet the stakeholders? Where are they located? How can I reach them? What are the social media opportunities that are abound? What are the new skills I need to move forward? All of these are some of the things that your opportunities would help you pinpoint. If there are challenges, okay, how do I turn these challenges into something that would work for me as a strength? So those are the things you have to answer under the O, which is the opportunities. When you look at the A, the aspirations, what are your values? You're just starting out. Even if you are three, there are some organizations who are 3 years, but today they are sharing pad, tomorrow they are doing women empowerment, next month they are doing raising strong men. The next means they are not known for something. What are your values? What do you want people to know you for? When people see you, okay, this is what this organization stands for. When you're talking about thought leadership, or to write article, or to speak in this field, this is what this person is all about. So what are your aspirations? Even if you are not it now, what are the things that in 5 years, in 10 years, what do you want your organization to stand for? Like I usually tell people, don't wink in the dark. um as an organization, especially with the founder, you have to be seen. You people have to know what you stand for. You cannot be on the sideline. you have to be seen. You have to, okay, this is what we are standing for. And when they mention anything um say green energy, right? You are the first person they will call. Even if you're not the first person, you are part of the team that they will call to come and speak on green energy. Then when you look at results, which is the last letter of the saw, when you look at results, what are the things that if at the end of this, and for this result, is like, how do we know that we are succeeding? How am I so sure that, okay, this thing I've set out to do is, so that's where your M&E comes in. You monitor, you evaluate. How do I know I'm succeeding? What will we tag as results? What will we tag as, okay, this is, if I say that, okay, psychologically the people I have supported have gone from point A to point B, what are the things I need to set in place for your M&E? Do you want to put a pretest? Once they come in through your organization, they take a pretest to understand where they are now. Then after say 3 weeks, let's say the first training or the second training, you want to reevaluate to see where they are now. Then you are able to compare and contrast to see, okay, we are meeting the goal that we've set for this particular project or for the organization. Yeah. So that is very important, because as an organization, I usually advise between year 1 to year 3. And if you have not even started at all, you're just fantastic. Once you are able to do this analysis and you are clear, there's a way clarity does things for you. You are clear. So even when you see other things that want to distract you, you say, no, this is where I'm going to. This is what I need to achieve. And with clarity, you are well suited to approach your funder. You are well suited to approach people who would not even, maybe they are not even supporting you in cash, but they can support you in kind, such as getting you free all for your trainings, support you with refreshment. No, it's clear. And then you then find people who are aligned with your goals and objectives, and they are able to run with you on it.
Okay, thank you so much. As you were talking, more messages came in. I'll be asking you the next question on registration, how important it is, and how can people also put their board of governance or board members together. But let's quickly just take a few more messages from here, and then we'll go on to talk about that. We already touched on Westlane. Alexander that was watching from Chicago. We got this one from Bella Nelson. He said they are watching from Delta State, and then Fumi, and then Okpapi David says watching from Abuja. Great job, Gabari, brother for life. Tokida again says SWOT analysis, and then Madam Rodkan said SWOT and SWOT analysis. Okay, I'm sure she's learning so much, is entering and singing, and she's hearing that for the first time. So this is a question from Comrade Amebayo, and if you can see it, you could just read it and then maybe respond to it quickly.
What are the impacts of social enterprises in one's life? So I would want to assume that you are asking what are the impact of social enterprise to the people you want to impact. For the individual, it could be a sense of fulfillment. Yeah. For the individual, it could be a sense of fulfillment. For you, you could just think of, how can I give back to the society? This is the little I have. And when you say impact, social impact, it doesn't have to be big. You can start from where you are. So for me, I would say it is a personal fulfillment and just trying to give back from, whether it is your knowledge, whether it's your skill, whether it is your resource in terms of funding, you are giving back. So it's a form of fulfillment for you. And then just ensuring that the world is a better place than you met it.
I think, Ame, I hope you're satisfied with that answer that Lady B gave. So let's come to registration, how important it is, because um, it's not enough to do things. It's also for one to work within the laws, the ambit of the laws. You know, a lot of people have missed opportunities, grants, sponsorships, and all of that because there's no name to the face, or there is no legal backing to the face,
Yeah.
you know. So how important is that? in terms of registration, and then maybe you address the issue of how people need to also put their board together, how important their board is too. Because you mentioned something while you were talking earlier on, that it's very important for the organization to also carry the board members along, so it's easier for them to either support or tow along the ideologies and the objectives of the organization. So talk to us about that.
Okay, so I think I will start with the question on registration. Um, I mentioned earlier that when you're winking in the dark, it's not just about communication and being seen. Except you are just doing this, say, the example I gave of my is my birthday, and for my birthday or my mommy's birthday, I want to just give out, and you're just doing it. You are not requesting for anybody's support. Even if you're requesting for your friends, they give you 10,000, they give you 50,000, they give you 1 million. You're just doing it. You guys are coming together. That's fine. But when you want to expand, when you are thinking long term, when you are thinking of my 1 million naira will not cover, my 1 million naira will just maybe cover, say, 1,000 people, and I want to reach 10,000, I want to reach 1 million. And then you have to think beyond even raising grants from international organization. What about your local organizations here that want to support? Local organization, there is something you call, where you have to, when an organization fundraise, an organization looks for smaller organization to also implement with them. With that, you are losing out. So I think registering your organization, putting your organization through the right platform, which is the CAC, is important. For Nigeria, registering organization, especially for non-profits, there are two types. There is incorporated trustee and there is limited by guarantee. Yes, by guarantee. But from experience, I will always advise NGOs who are just starting out to just go for the incorporated trustee. I'll tell you why. For the guarantee, limited by guarantee, you are allowed to run a business, but the profits cannot be shared with your board. And the process of and sometimes the process of getting the limited by guarantee can be so strenuous, because you have to get the approval of the director general before you can even go ahead to do anything. So getting that is one hurdle that you have to cross. And I always advise non-profit that sometimes don't do it alone. Get an expert, get a lawyer to help you do it, just so that you have lesser tax to manage as the executive director or as the founder of the organization. Sometimes you need to outsource these things so that you don't make any mistakes. So like I said, I will always advise that you go with incorporated trustee. And for the incorporated trustee, one of the major things you have to get is to get your trustees. And when you're selecting your trustees, it's also important that you have done your analysis or you understand your goals and objectives, so that when you are selecting them, they align with what your organization is doing. Yeah. um I think at this point I may not be able to go through the steps. I jotted some things here. In terms of appointing your trustees, you can get a lawyer. There's also a part where you have to publish the name in 3 dailies. It's quite a long process, and I'm happy to share link. I have a resource where when people ask me questions and I see that the questions are coming in again and again, I just go online, do the research, and put everything in one place so that people can see. So if you can go to Impact Y, we are on um we are on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram as well. Yeah. So you can go there and see the whole process, the publication, from getting a constitution. Constitution is very, very important. You have to set up your constitution, which means that maybe based on your SWOT analysis, your SWOT analysis is just the easiest because the SWOT analysis that just helps you answer the question. How do you add your board? How do you remove your board? What are the things that your organization wants to do? Etc. etc. So when you have all of those things, yeah, it's always good for you. Then you now put them into a constitution. Your lawyer can help you with that if you are not skilled in writing a constitution. And it's always good for you to just work with your lawyer to help you with these things. It just takes so much stress off you. Trust me. You get a lawyer. I already talked about the publication. Then your first minutes, they usually ask for minutes of minutes as part of the registration. So they assume that you'd have met with your trustees. That your trustees are not just your uncle and your aunt, like just be let's just please let's just go and register. Do you understand? So they want to be sure that you these people know what they are in for, and these people understand the tenets and everything that has to be organization, because they are your trustees. So you're going to submit the minutes of the meeting, which will be signed by the chairman of the board. Then I think for your trustees, that's the people that will be in your CAC document. You can have as low as 2 trustees and as more as 5, depending on. But I always advise that you should always stay with the odd number. You can have 3, you can have 5, you can have 7, and not an even number. Yeah. So then I don't. Your question doesn't go into tax, so I'll just leave tax. But when you've registered, when you finish doing your registration, then you can open your bank account. You can start to raise funds. You can even start your audited account. The audited account will even allow you to be able to apply for international funding. So some international funding requests 3 years audited account. But if you're just starting out and you do your first audited account, because I know for tax, the first, I think, is it 24 months you are exempted from filing. As an NGO, you are not paying tax, but you have to remit your VAT. Yeah. I don't want to go into this, so we're not confused. Maybe we can have another session on taxing and financing, so that this is not a lot for you to take in, because sometimes finance and social enterprise can be a very strenuous tax. So I'll leave it at that. So then to your next question on board, yes, setting up your board members. When you go to your SWOT analysis, the part of your opportunities, you remember I talked about who are your beneficiaries, who are your stakeholders, who are the people you would need. When you are answering the questions under the opportunities and what is needed, what are the things you need to do, you would identify that, oh, ambassador is skilled in media, etc, etc. And for me to scale, I would need media presence. It means I need to bring Ambassador Emmy on board as a board member. When he comes on board as a board member, his tax will be highlighted for him, and he understands and has agreed to carry on that tax. Is not limited to writing references for you to go to a media house to go and do interview so that your work can be seen. It's not limited to helping you to write your press releases. It's not limited to helping you're just putting a word on a radio station. It's not limited, but you just have to sit down, understand what your organization wants to do, and how ambassador can help you based on his expertise, his experience, and his network. Sometimes a lot of people, we get what I think one mistake people do is we usually look for the top people who are very popular to be on our board. That is a good thing. It can open doors for you. That's why I said once you are clear on your goals, you are able to decide what you want to do. It is a good thing and it's also a bad thing, because sometimes you can have very popular people, maybe big people on your board, and you cannot reach them. You cannot ask them to do anything. They cannot put in a word for you. They are busy, so you're just putting them on your letterhead or on your website or on your
Maybe for a fizzy.
for it. You have to decide if you want to do paparazzi. Fine. So that's why your goal has to be clear. If you want to do paparazzi, Good. But if you know that you want to do real work and you know that these people may not have the time, and to be fair, some people genuinely don't have the time. But when you are just on their neck, you have to be my board chair. You have to be on the board. You're like, okay, just put my name, and then you cannot call them for your quarterly meetings. They don't have any input throughout the whole year. The only time you've spoken to your board member is when you see at a party. Oh, well, I'm there. That's not good. You have to have a board member that is accessible, at least to your management team or to you as a founder. That's someone that you can call when you're tired. That, oh, I'm really tired. And they're like, oh, no, no, don't worry. I'll put in a word for you. Go and do this. Go and do this. And someone that can just, just be a cushion, just assist you. Because trust me, running an organization is not small work. Someone that can just put you through. So that's why you need to understand what are the strengths of my board member, what are his expertise, what industry does he play in, does his industry align with what I want to do, will he help me to grow my organization? If those questions are answered, all good. And if you feel that, oh no, no, I don't need my board member to really do much, I got it. I have a team of people that will do. Just need a board member to just call President Muhammad Buhari, and that's it. If that is what he wants. But again, your goals and objectives will define who you need per time. Secondly, for your don't always set up a board without giving them tax. It is very important. Don't just bring them over that, okay, just join first. When you join, then along the line, we will now see what we can assign to you. No, you have to give them a timeline, because most times board members are very busy people. Give them a timeline. Let them know what you need from them. If it's fundraising support, let them know. If it is media support, let them know. If it is finance, help us to guide. How do we do it? How do we file for grants? We don't want to keep paying our lawyers. We just need to guide us. We have an accountant in house that will just listen and then follow your guide. If that is what you want, bring them of God. Let them know. Send reports regularly to them. Send reports regularly to them. Let them know what is happening in the organization. Let them be aware so that they can put you through, because you are all in building this organization together. So that is one important thing. And then in terms of frequency of having your meetings, I would recommend quarterly. When I say quarterly, I mean every 4 months. But depending on the agreements you have with your board members, you can decide what is the frequency for your meetings. But it's very, very important you hold meetings. It's very, very important whether your co-founder, whether your executive director has access to all your board members. Your board member, you can pick your call and cry, say, and say, we need this support. Do you understand? So that would be it.
Okay, thank you so much, Buki. Got a message here from Hilary Amechi from Abia State. He says, wow, you are really building my capacity, answering most of my innermost questions about my NGO. Thanks. Wow. Okay. So I was going to ask this. I know it's not even part of what I was supposed to also ask you, but hearing you say some of all of these things, where is the place of staff and volunteer? Because I'm also looking at what you said about people needing to have board members that they can at least reach out to, vent, cry if need be, someone who could tell you it's okay, just move on, we are behind you. Because if you have all of these support mechanisms from the board angle, where do we also begin to put the place of staff and volunteers? Because these days, young people don't like volunteering anymore. You call them for any little thing, the first thing they ask you, how much the thing go bring? Who volunteering help? I beg, na money first, na be the cocoa. So how do organizations also begin to look out for staff and volunteers who will also be like a support mechanism, who will run with the vision, the aim and objectives of the organization, so they also don't wear out?
Mm, mm. Very important question. It's just sad that volunteerism is just going down there, and I really don't understand why. Because I remember my first shot at, you know, social entrepreneurship, NGO, and just impact, it was through volunteerism, and I really enjoyed it. And I usually encourage people that, in fact, if we are looking for, you know, when you finish from school and they tell you, oh, 3 years experience, 5 years experience, I used to tell them the experience that they're asking you for is in volunteering. The experience they're asking you for, go and volunteer. When you volunteer, you don't even, because the skills people gain by volunteering is so enormous. It's so enormous. Like I can't even quantify it. But maybe that's not the story for today. But volunteerism, I would recommend it 100%. The most important thing is just define what you want to do in terms of volunteerism, and ensure that you have a role and responsibility. So it's clear. So when you are building your CV, it also helps you, it helps the organization. Yeah. Now for team members, when you're starting off, depending on the organization, I usually advise that as when you're starting out, especially with smaller organizations, you have to make, because of, like you mentioned, because of the way the workforce is now, you know, managing Gen Zs, millennial, I would always advise the best place or the first place to look for someone who would stay at least 1 year is to go to the NYC. And how will you do this? You are a registered NGO, you write to NYC. I need one youth corps members. And please, you're gonna pay them a stipend. Whether you are matching what the federal government is paying, or you are paying at least 50,000 naira. It will bring commitment. You know that this youth corps member is with you for at least 1 year. And trust me, when you are genuine with your organization, when the team member sees how much the person has grown in 1 year. And don't forget, why I'm always encouraging NYC is because most of the time during the NYC, a lot of young people don't know what they want to do next. Trust me, a lot don't know what they want to do next. They are curious, trying to just, and then you, as a social impact, you start your impact from there. And you are now paying lesser. Lucky you are matching what federal government is paying. So you are sure that the person you are hiring is not going to suffer in any way and any form. You can also look at, okay, the location of where the volunteer is living is close. The proximity is not too far from your maybe office or your workstation, or if they have to work remotely. Good. Train the person, and when the person see that you are offering value, and the person sees that, okay, I've gained so much, I think I really like this industry, the person will stay. And even if the person doesn't stay, the person will recommend someone to come and volunteer. Trust me, it's always like that. They will recommend someone who either volunteers or online NYC that would come in and take up, because what you really need is that sustainability. You don't want a volunteer that will come in 1 month and then the next month you're trying to train on a new person. It's frustrating. Workforce, my God, workforce can be so frustrating, managing workforce. And you want people who will stay long term, at least 3 years or at least 2 years. Because we know that now people move from jobs, one job to another, and which is fine. But at least you have the commitment of the NYSC person, that the NYSC person is going to stay for at least 1 year. You are training, you are building capacity, all of the things you need to fix for your organization. We are assuming that by then all your corporate governance, you're setting up your board, all the things you need to get, whether it's your EFCC, the Scromo, all of the
Mm.
things, all the institutional or statutory requirements, you've cleared it, you are doing your project, if you are able to, I think the NYC is about 33,000 now. If you are able to make that commitment of 30,000 every month, I would advise you, please do. If you don't have, then you may now need to work with volunteers. Say on a monthly basis, you are paying them stipends for maybe calls, but you may not really get, the whole committed for the long term, except you are very lucky, and you are not playing on luck here. This is business, so you have to think long term. You're not playing on luck here, so I will always recommend that. And then in terms of um operational expense, because most of the things NGO does is outside of the project is operational expense. You're paying for fuel if you have to run your center, for calls and all of those things. You have to find a way to ensure that you align. Sometimes when you're working your strategy for maybe the yearly strategy that aligns with your goals, you may look at which companies are doing things that are similar to mine. It means that it's a win-win situation. They are ticking off the box in their CSR initiative for 2023. I'm also meeting my target on, say, training 1,000 young people on career development. Do the work, highlight with your intern or your friend who you are working together, or yourself. In case you don't have money, you have to do it yourself. You'll be the HR, you'll be the finance. It's always like that the first years, you know. So you sit down, you highlight companies. If, for example, you are in Kano, what companies are available in Kano? And please do not restrict yourself. Put down as many companies as possible. In fact, you can do up to 100. It doesn't matter. And I always encourage that at the beginning of the year, once you are done with your strategy, this is what I want to do this year. This is my strategy. This is how I want to go about it. Just sit down. The tax is always a lot. But by the time it starts running, when you start to reap the benefits, you'll be very happy you did it. Sit down. If you are saying, maybe 100 is too much, I can do 50. But I always advise do 200, do 250. Just highlight while you are looking for your international funders, you do your strategy for that. But for your local organization that can help you with operational expense, help you to even kick off your project while you also augment with your own personal funds. Always, always, always identify the companies. You say, when you draw your table, company, CSR initiative, who to contact, how to contact. Company, CSR initiative, who to contact, how to contact. Just that 4 columns, you are good to go. And then you populate those columns. If UBA, say for example, is in Kano, or maybe just you can even go from industry to industry, from banks to agriculture company, just go all out. Who do you want to contact? How do you contact them? And then there's one particular letter. I will be happy to share the template with you that I usually just a simple template, one pager. Introduce yourself, tell us why you are here, tell us the impact, and then just clearly state how that impact ties to what they want to do and why, if they work with your organization, you are going to help them achieve their goal. Don't forget, you're helping them to achieve their goal, you're also achieving your own goal. It aligns. And when you start to build your portfolio of projects that you're already working with, out of 200, at least 5 will answer you. Even if they don't give you funds, they will support you with products or support you with space, or they will do something. Trust me. And I'm even trying to be modest with the 5. I'm trying to be modest with the 5. They are going to support. Trust me. And by the time you're already doing that, you are pushing it, your communication person is helping you to push the project you are doing, you are meeting your target. So by the time when they are looking for, when they go on any search engine, NGOs in Nigeria focused on, give me one course now. I've run out of courses.
Youth empowerment.
Focus on youth empowerment, and your search engine is very strong. Trust me, your organization will pop up at least the first 5, and your organization will be part of. You know that the way these the search engine does, they will do pages 1 to 50. The organization, nobody has the time to be checking page 2, page 3, page 10. Nobody has the time. When you do your search engine, I'm going to talk about. I think I will just talk briefly about the website. It is very important as you start. When they start NGOs in Nigeria, focus on youth empowerment. Your NGO should be part of the number 1. And then they will see when they check your media, they check your videos, they check your pictures. Person has been working. But you know that it was when you're helping UBA, you are helping each other. Do you understand? I'm just using that as an example. You get me? So So I don't forget. Speaking of website, one of the mistakes we usually make, and I think is everybody who wants to run a social enterprise or even a business, is usually look for fancy names, to for our URL. Please don't do it, because when people are going to search for who do I support, who can I work with, they are going to use the buzzwords. They will use frequently used words, yeah, in searching for your organization. So if, for example, you are doing youth development and you go and put me by Emmy impact.com, nobody will find you. Do you understand? Nobody will find you. You can put youth development by Emmy.ng, they will still find you. You have just have to ensure that whatever industry and your name you are carrying carries your focus. So when they are looking for what else besides youth development, if you're looking for this, say someone that does climate change, and your
Or get
and your
child
URL doesn't
education.
say climate, what do you say, education,
Or
Abby?
get child education. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Or they are looking for NGOs in education in Nigeria and in Kano. You know that when people want to search, we used to search, they will drill down. When they search NGOs in Nigeria, okay, they will see, okay, NGOs in Nigeria in youth, in education. They'll say, okay. Oh, NGOs in Nigeria in Kano, then your name should come. NGOs in Nigeria based in Kano, your NGO should come out. So please, if you have a website that doesn't clearly state what you do, or maybe you are helping people, you are teaching people, say, religion, for example, the Quran, you are teaching people the Quran, and you are not saying Quran by Emmy or so. I'm just using that as an example. So that the Quran is there. So when they want to search for Quran, who is the person that teaches people Quran, and they don't find you, then that's another problem. You have to ensure that you are searchable, you are easily found online. And then when we do something around, say, social media, I can talk about hashtags and talk about how you are able to just push yourself, even as the executive director or as the founder. You have to be seen. Please don't wink in the dark. Please don't wink in the dark. You have to be seen. When they say who are the top people that speak on youth development in Nigeria, ensure your name is there. You speak in Kano, your name is there. In Abia State, your name is there. Do you understand? In Delta, your name is there. So you have to. That's why that's why I started with the SWOT analysis. Ensure you are clear on what you want. Don't say today you are doing woman empowerment. Tomorrow, when they are doing climate change, it's you that we will see there. Next tomorrow, if they are sharing biscuits in the church, you are there. Please stay in one place and drill down. Then about your thematic areas going obsolete, you may want to now say that, okay, if during your SWOT analysis, you can say that if I have trained 1,500 people in Kwara State on youth development, I have reached my goal. With that, I close on this thematic area and I move to a closer thematic area that I feel that the need of Kwara State is very, very important, that we meet this need. Then you can now move on it. But it will just build your capacity, strengthen your capacity. No, strengthen, that's the word. Strengthen your capacity that, okay, if I'm looking for anybody in climate change, I'm calling Sarah Samuel. And Sarah Samuel, a social, a footprint in the media, not just social media, in the media. When I put you on Google, when I put you on Bing, Sarah Samuel is popping up for climate change. So I think that would just be my addition to that. Ambassador, are you still here? Okay, I think we've lost it. Then I wanted to add, if you want to read up on the steps on registering, especially for incorporated trustees, please go to at impacty, that's IMPACTY underscore, is on Instagram, and then we have it on LinkedIn as well. IMPACTY underscore on Instagram, that's the handle. And then you have impacty on LinkedIn as well. I think we've lost.
Hello, Buki.
Hi.
Are you
I'm testing
there?
your network. I'm here.
Sorry, Nigeria has happened. Never to be like.
Sorry.
Nigeria
Never be
happened.
happy. Nigeria.
Oh my God. Is well.
Yeah.
Okay. So where did you stop? Because at some point I lost touch and all of that.
Yeah. So I think I just ended it on the search engine, how they
Oh,
have to
okay.
optimize their search engine
Yeah,
to
yeah.
industry they are in, and to what they do, so that when they search for them, it is very easy to to be seen.
Okay.
Then I also spoke about, for the incorporated trustees, the steps and other resources, actually, because I've compiled quite a number of resources.
Mm,
Um, so you can go to impacty, IMPACTY underscore. That's Impacty username on Instagram, and then you can find us on LinkedIn as well. We're trying to build a community to support one another as social entrepreneurs. So Impacty, impact with a Y. So Impacty.
yeah.
So you can go on. Please, can I put this in the comment section so that.
Yes, I will, and I will also drop it when after this show, so
All
that
right. I will share with
w-
you the link tree as well for all the
oh,
resources. You can
fine.
just go and just read.
Fine.
Yeah.
So that'll be fine. We'll just push all of that so that people will watch the video, because we get more views from people who watch the show after the show, because of the 6 hours, 8 hours country difference and all of that.
Different.
So I will still put it there. So we really need to wrap up now because we have just 3 minutes left. I'll bring you back to talk about social media again, the importance, and then we'll talk a whole lot more about taxation. Um, why it's very important to file and all of that. So, but as we wrap up now, what are your final words you'd like to say to everyone before we wrap up?
Okay, so final words would be, thank you for even offering to start up an NGO, a social enterprise in the first place. Is um the like I will always tell people, the passion may not be enough. You still have to do a lot of work beyond passion. You will at some point need funding to be able to scale. You will need support, but most importantly, please do not work alone. Find a community, join a community, especially a community in the space you want to serve. Join a community. It just has a way of just helping, building you up, and then you don't get tired easily when you do that. So please don't work alone. Don't work alone. Collaboration is really, really key in this space. It is key. We are impact drivers. We are supposed to support one another. We are trying to ensure that the world is a better place for every one of us, even after we leave. So please don't work alone. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a norm we do here. When our guests come, we give them 30 seconds to appreciate organizations or their support mechanism, be it their family, friends, colleagues, or anyone. We know that there can be any superman or superwoman without some salient or silent support mechanism. So we give them the opportunity to use 30 minutes, 30 seconds, or 1 minute to appreciate publicly organizations or people who have supported them in the work that they do. So your 30 seconds starts now.
Okay. I lost my train of thought. I think I want to say thank you to first some of the CFOs I've worked with, because I'm working on I hope I I'm in alignment with what you have said. Um I've worked with CFOs in putting together a resource in finance and accounting management for social entrepreneurs. I want to say thank you to the CFO for Leap Africa, CFO for Wimbies, CFO for um, Fit Foundation, even CFO for Maven Records as well. She has been amazing because she has managed some social NGO accounting, and they have been instrumental to helping me with it, because finance can be, especially when it is not your forte. But because of my experience working and managing international grants, I was able to do it. But even at that, without them, I think I would have just left. And I also want to thank my social sector management. We have finished the first part of the book, and I needed beta readers to, yes, to read and then just tell me, oh no, this is too boring. You know, finance can be boring. So I had to use them as experiment. Social sector management seven team set seven. They have been so kind and they helped me read through the book and then give useful feedback. So I hope that by the time the book is released, it's going to be one of the best things that's happened in the social enterprise sector, supporting in terms of financial management. We've lost Emmanuel again.
Only God will help
Hi
us with NEPA.
again. Sorry.
Nigeria has
Sorry.
happened.
That has
Okay.
nothing to do.
Okay, so I really want to thank you for joining us. Although I lost thought of where you were greeting and appreciating people from Marvin's and others. But let me quickly read some of these messages for you as we close the show now. So Adetoro Esther Amlambo, she's a viewer from Kaduna. She said, "Don't walk alone. I got that." Thank you, Ma. That has. And Hilary Amechi said thanks. In fact, he even inboxed to say that you've really helped him put a whole lot of things as an ED to an upcoming organization. He's really learned so much just listening to you today, and I'm really happy about that. So we will wrap up now. But yes, before NEPA starts their wahala again, let's pack our load and go. What's your final word of advice to everyone watching and people who will watch even after the show? Your last final words to everyone, Buki. You have to unmute. You have to unmute, Buki.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I
Yeah.
was saying that keep building. It's an unending task. We are all in this together.
Oh wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate. I'm so happy finally that we were able to do this interview. No wonder
Same
NEPA
here.
noticed it. NEPA noticed it and they were trying to
I fighting,
hallelujah
you know.
it. Thank you so much, Buki. Yes, thanks to everyone who joined us today. Like I said earlier on, the show is still here. The recordings will still be here. We got a lot of people who watch us from the Caribbean, from the US, from Canada, and they watch like 6 or 8 hours later. So the video is here. Please let us know your thoughts. Everyone who's been dropping their comments there, let's also know your thoughts. I will share with you the impactee that Buki talked about, so you could go check it out yourself. The conversations are on ending. If you still have questions for her, please do drop it. We'll find time. She still needs to touch on two things for us: social media impact on social enterprise, and then taxations and how organizations, non-profit can file for their taxations and their reports and all of that. I really want to thank Buki once again for finding time to join, and thanks to everyone who joined us. The guy
Thank
from the
you.
US and everyone. So, Buki, thank you so much for this. So, till we come your way again and some other time, my name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, urging you to have a blissful and wonderful Wednesday. God bless you all, and bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye. Bye.